Oh, what's up? What's up? Good afternoon or morning, depending on where you're at. Let me do a quick little sound check here. Oh, what's up? What's up? Boom. There we go. We got on sound. What's up, man? I hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are safe. With all the craziness that's going on. Thank you for the people that joined me last night on the End of Times live stream, which was pretty crazy. But I enjoyed myself. I mean, it was serious. There was a lot of serious stuff and there was fun stuff. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Daniel Robinson. There was a press conference. For the people that don't know about this story, we're going to recap, so don't worry about that. We're going to watch my original video and then some of the details that have come along the way, and then we're going to watch the new press conference. And it's a really weird, strange, bizarre story. Let me see here. And I didn't even know that there was a press conference, but some of the subscribers, Brandy and I think Rain, told me that Grizzly, True Crime, let me put her up on the screen. You can check out her page here. She covered the press conference. I think it was this one, yeah. And it was kind of like a press conference. The thing is, it doesn't have a lot of views. This is the source video, 294 views. And I saw Grizzly's been on top of this. I did originally cover this as well, but she's been following up with the updates. And I'm like, damn, man, let me just come in here and try to give this a little bit of attention if possible. We'll recap, talk about the updates, and watch the press conference. So what I want to do is first start off with this, because this is going to give you, I worked really hard in this video. This is going to give you a lot of the details. Because when I watched the press conference, I didn't watch the whole thing. I skimmed through it, but it didn't like go through the entire beginning of it, I don't think. So I'm going to play this first, and then we're going to watch a couple of things. We're going to watch myself for those that missed it. And please, if you wouldn't mind hitting like and share, all that good stuff, subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. And this is truly a bizarre story about a person that went missing in the Arizona deserts with timeline contradictions depending on what article you read. There's a bunch of other bizarre details about this story that you're going to need to watch this entire video. But at the end of the day, Daniel Robinson is still missing. And who is Daniel Robinson? Well, a little bit about him. He's 24 years old, black hair, brown eyes, 5'8", 165 pounds. After graduating college in 2019, he landed a career as a field geologist, and that's when he moved to Phoenix, Arizona. He oversees many sites located in remote desert locations, often working in extreme conditions and traveling long distances to work on projects. Now, according to his LinkedIn, he's a hydrogeologist at Matrix New World Engineering. He drives a blue Renegade 2017, which we're going to talk more about later, but he was also born with one hand, and his parents call him Danny, and he plays multiple instruments, his father said, David. Daniel was born with one hand, as many have come to find out, but he never allowed that to hinder him. When Danny wanted to learn the French horn, he taught himself. When he wanted to learn the trombone, he mastered it. So let's talk about the last time that Daniel Robinson was seen, June 23rd. And this remote location is in the area west of Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road in Buckeye, Arizona. Daniel arrives to work at 9 a.m. On June 23rd, he met with a co-worker named Kenneth, who told Buckeye police he was acting strange.
BPD also released a partial police report on Thursday that documents all the leads and evidence they've followed up on.
And this is going to be one of the weird things about this story that you kind of have to follow, because with the new things that have been coming out, like the father speaking, Daniel Robinson is the missing guy, the missing person, and then David Robinson is his father. And the weird thing is that like now the father's he kind of said it before too, but he's coming out and saying that he wasn't acting strange, though this woman that supposedly he made deliveries to, grocery deliveries, she says he was acting strange. His coworker said he was acting strange, though the coworker, I believe, was new on the job. We're going to get into that in a little bit. And I also read an article that said that he supposedly visited his sister's house one day and he just sat there for 30 minutes. There's like weird to me because when I look at things and when I do like my little research and I sit down, I look at different articles and I compare and contrast what I see. Like usually like this is kind of like what my notes look like somewhat. It's all messed up and jumbled up, but it's different various articles and I pull different things. And a lot of times I find contradictings or different bits of information. And the dates sometimes kind of like there were different dates on different articles. And the private investigator at one point, I thought he said like he believed there was maybe foul play, but then like he didn't. We're going to see it in this video, and now they're saying like there is. So it's just like, I don't know. It's weird.
Like call logs with Daniel's coworker who says he wasn't making sense the day he disappeared. David says he hasn't looked at that report yet.
I heard rumors about that, but I haven't read that report.
Now, according to the police report, David also said, that's Daniel's father, they have been receiving information from a coworker of Daniel's. He advised that Daniel had been to the job site in Buckeye, but that he had left in the morning and had not come back. I then spoke with Kevin, who is a supervisor with the company. He advised that Ken with the company Weber was the person that had met with Daniel. Kenneth, Ken. I spoke with Ken on the phone. He advised that Daniel had arrived at the site around 9 a.m. and that it was raining. Ken said that Daniel was saying things that did not make sense, like asking if Ken wanted to go rest and then asked if he wanted to go to Phoenix to rest. Ken advised that Daniel was not making sense with the things he was saying and that he was talking about things that did not make sense. Ken said that Daniel was there for approximately 15 minutes and then suddenly left. Ken said he was concerned because of Daniel's behavior and spoke with Steve, who was a project manager, and let Steve know what had happened. Ken said that he continued working and that he was receiving updates throughout the day from Steve. According to Insider, around 3 p.m., Kenneth was made aware that Robinson had not been located and was not responding to texts and calls from work and family. At that point, Ken started to look for Robinson in the desert. Ken followed tire tracks he said were Robinson's near the work site where Robinson was last seen, heading west. He tried to locate Robinson as he drove further into an extremely large desert area. Police then searched that area for hours with no success. So this is all on June 23rd. His family stated that he usually doesn't go more than 6 hours without contacting somebody. And I believe they reported him missing that day. Now, the following day, June 24th, police tell Daniel's father to check his social media and confirm that all the photos on his son's Instagram had been deleted since his disappearance. So let's pause here for a second and let me just tell you some more bizarre instances and details. This is really just the beginning. And there's been multiple reports with regards to family, friends, people that have seen him at restaurants, and a woman that he was doing Instacart deliveries for. According to the police report, multiple of Robinson's friends and family members and a waitress at Waffle House he had visited 2 days before he disappeared reported odd behavior leading up to his disappearance. Most commonly, he was described as being off. On the same day, he had texted his sister that he had an emergency but neglected to answer any of her calls in response, according to the police report. Robinson's sister also said one time he went over to her apartment and sat in silence for 30 minutes before getting up and leaving. His dad told police, that's one of the stories that I was talking about as well, that is, and I haven't listened to the full press conference, so I'm curious to hear what they have to say, but there's multiple accounts that there was something kind of weird going on. Now they're saying there's nothing weird going on. I'm somebody, I just look at all the details or the different articles, and who knows, the articles could have it wrong too. But I look at all the details and I'm like, what's contradicting, what's overlapping, what doesn't make sense, and what's what? You know what I'm saying? That in the weeks leading up to his disappearance, Robinson had told him that he met a woman and was in love with her. Robinson II, which is like the father, found this strange since his son didn't appear to know anything about the woman. A coworker told police that Robinson had mentioned something about a girl, specifically about wanting a woman he liked and couldn't have, but overall wasn't making sense when talking about her. Robinson had made contact with a woman prior to his disappearance, according to police report. Robinson was her Instacart delivery person, and she invited him into her home when he arrived with her delivery because he seemed friendly, she told police. After exchanging phone numbers, Robinson showed up at her home unannounced, which even to me, this story is kind of weird. What kind of I mean, maybe that's normal over there. I don't know if anybody's ever had Instacart or whatever delivered. Who takes, like, all right, come inside, chill, let's hang out or whatever. You know, that was kind of weird too. That story, I thought. We're going to get into the supposed text messages too. Announced a few times. He then told her he loved her, according to the police report. She asked him to stop contacting her, and he didn't again.
Daniel was last seen by a coworker on June 23rd, and according to this police report, was acting odd at his job site just before driving away. But in the days prior, the report says Daniel was also behaving oddly with a woman he'd met while working a side job for a food delivery service. After only a few days, texts revealed he'd show up unannounced. The report says he told family that he was in love with her. It also says photos on his Instagram account appear to have been removed since he'd gone missing.
On June 24th as well, which I have multiple varying dates depending on which article you look at. It's surprising that all these news articles have different dates varying by 1 or 2 days. But on June 24th, the police were dispatched to Daniel's home. They did not enter. They did enter, though, July 6th or the 7th, depending on what article you read, which is a pretty long time from. And I think this is his sibling, one of his siblings. The initial time that he went missing, June 23rd, and now July 6th or 7th is when they enter the apartment. And from there, we get to the vehicle. July 19, depending on where you look at, but according to Insider, as well as the official release from police, the vehicle was found July 19th, 2021. Now, the situation with that, on July 19, 2021, a landowner spotted Daniel's Jeep in a ravine. Because of the rough terrain, the vehicle was not clearly visible to crews searching by air or on foot. The vehicle had significant damage. Later that month, on July 31st, 2021, a human skull was located in the area of where the Jeep had been recovered. It was later determined the remains do not belong to Daniel. Now, there's a couple of things to unpack with this, and I want you to pay attention because of the clip I'm going to play to you, because there's kind of confusion everywhere and clarifications everywhere and dates everywhere. It states here from the police report, no additional human remains have been found despite online reports claiming otherwise. Other remains recovered during searches were determined to be animal bones. So there was a human skull and there's animal bones. Police did their own searches, as well as Daniel's father had volunteers and they were doing searches, and he hired a private investigator. Daniel's cell phone, wallet, keys, clothes were all found in his vehicle. And police are saying no foul play. Super bizarre.
Is it true that your group, let's say, have found the remains of 5 or maybe 6 people in your search for your son, but none of them were him?
Yes. Well, we had 7 searches, 7 weeks of searches. I created a search full of volunteers who worked vigorously out in the desert, recovered a lot of ground around the last places, the last spot that my son was seen, which is the well site. Then when the vehicle showed up, we also covered those areas. And in those searches, yes, we recovered what appeared to be human remains. We documented them, take pictures, and turned all of those over to the Buckeye Police Department, including a skull that was found.
A skull was found near his car, but that is not your son, correct?
That is correct.
According to Buckeye Police Department, they stated that leading up to finding Robinson's vehicle, they conducted 4 ground searches and 2 aerial searches. After finding the car, they conducted 2 more ground searches on July 21st. But as you remember, it was the rancher that actually found the vehicle, and then I guess they had to send people there to the vehicle. And speaking of the vehicle, it's really interesting what this private investigator had to say with regards to the diagnostics and readings and the instruments of this vehicle.
Pressing police for a more thorough investigation, like fingerprinting Daniel's Jeep.
I asked how can they be sure that my son was driving the vehicle without doing forensics work. The reply was that it was my son's vehicle. It is.
There was even contradictions about the remains that were found. I think I edited it out of this video because I was just like, I don't want to, but there was just a bunch of stuff that I saw. I also feel like this video that I did is slept on. I worked really hard on this video, and this video was like relevant even to this day, like with details and everything. I mean, I covered a lot in a compact amount of time, 17 minutes.
It's obvious he was driving.
He also points to what he calls concerning conversations, like a detective suggesting his son wanted to vanish.
But maybe he wanted to be away from his family, to join the monastery and become a monk.
So then you get the black box from the Jeep that he was driving. And it turns out, tell me if I have it wrong, that there was some kind of collision, but that after the collision, the car was driven another 11 miles, and that there were other signs of collisions, and that once the car was in the ravine, somebody attempted to restart it almost 40 times. Is that all accurate?
That is correct.
David hired private investigator Jeff.
Yeah, and if you guys could hit like, please, it really, really helps out the stream. Helps spread out the video and the algorithm so more people can see it. I'd appreciate that.
Jeff McGrath in July, who says the crash data doesn't add up.
The detective told him the vehicle rolled down the ravine. I looked at the photo. I said that vehicle never rolled. It got to the bottom and tipped on its side. That's all it did. So I can't rule out foul play. So I don't know how Buckeye can.
The damage didn't match with the terrain and where it was laying.
Where's my son?
Daniel's father, David, brought in private investigator Jeff McGrath to piece together what led up to the crash. Buckeye Police handed over the Jeep and their report from the vehicle's airbag control module, or ACM, showing what happened after the airbags were deployed.
And this guy McGrath, he specializes in accident reconstruction, according to ABC 15.
McGrath's team ran their own analysis.
After the airbags came out, somebody turned that ignition over at least 46 more times. That's not normal. We usually see one or two because it adds one when we download the box. We have to put power to it.
The ACM also records the vehicle's speed.
There's an additional 11 miles on the car since the airbags deployed. So that tells me the car was driven around after it crashed.
Buckeye Police are now analyzing data from the Jeep's entertainment system connected to Daniel's cell phone. McGrath says the system shows the Jeep was involved in a collision around 1 p.m. on June 23rd, nearly 4 hours after he was last seen.
June 23rd, accident or collision, I should say, 1 p.m.
The Jeep was involved in a collision around 1 p.m. on June 23rd, nearly 4 hours after he was last seen.
We have a gap in time and we don't know where he went, what was going on at that point. By looking at the photographs, it doesn't match the area. Sometimes those could be a staged event, and this looked like a staged event to me.
My son is an outgoing guy. He is optimistic. He had dreams. He have dreams of things he wanted to do in the future. He loved to travel. Matter of fact, he had plans for his family to come visit him in July. I had plans to be here to see his vehicle for the first time. He's proud of that Jeep. And for myself to see that Jeep the first time in the situation that it was in is very devastating for his mother and myself and his siblings.
Daniel's brother says he believes police are doing what they can to find him now, but
had they been quick about it in the beginning,
that's the picture I showed you earlier. So it's his brother.
We wouldn't be here 3 months later, still searching for my brother and still looking for answers.
It took me 3 months to look at my son's picture. Just seen his car. It took me 3 months to look at his car. You thought you felt pain. Try looking for your child and not knowing where he is.
Yeah, I believe that if they would have stepped up to play at the beginning, I wouldn't be standing here now.
I took some screenshots from Reddit, and just to give a little bit of maybe the dangers of the desert, one person said a lot of these comments keep getting removed. If they refer to what I think they're referring to, there are parts out here where it is known to stay away. His job description is interesting. If he wandered onto the wrong land, he would not be the first to go missing. And to note, his vehicle was only 4 miles away from where he was last seen, his job. Another comment says, I've done some work out in the area and been chased off or confronted at times. People choose to live further from others for lots of reasons. I would still hope that someone who knew something or had seen him would choose to come forward, even if they don't agree with the reason he was working out that way. There's a lot of conversation going on Reddit with regards to this story. One person says, I live right down the road and they're developing large areas for housing out there at the moment, so won't stay rural for long. Another person says, I don't know the specific project he was working on, and I don't want to suggest any relationship to his disappearance. In response to the reason I was confronted in the past, people in hard hats and vests mean form of change is coming to the desert, and not everyone sees that as a good thing. I also read some pretty disturbing posts with regards to, in some deserts, what they could do to make people disappear. Now, it was a little bit weird following this story because of the different times and different articles and different backs and forths and not really sure of what's what. But at the end of the day, Daniel Robinson needs to be found and his family needs answers. And I put this little clip together just of some of the little peculiar things while watching, and mental health is a serious issue.
So I can't rule out foul play. So I don't know how Buckeye can.
At this time, the department has no evidence to suspect foul play or a crime. McGrath doesn't believe Daniel's disappearance was criminal either, after discovering he may have been struggling with his mental health weeks prior to his...
You see what I mean when I say contradictions and stuff like that? This is why I put this in the video, so you can hear and see the different aspects and perspectives. Let me take it back a little bit just to this part here. Clear things while watching, and mental health is a serious issue.
So I can't rule out foul play. So I don't know how Buckeye can.
At this time, the department has no evidence to suspect foul play or a crime. McGrath doesn't believe Daniel's disappearance was criminal either, after discovering he may have been struggling with his mental health weeks prior to his disappearance.
Daniel Robinson's state of mind, a recurring theme in this report.
No enemies, no ongoing mental illness. He wasn't suffering from anything. Anything that might cause that kind of duress?
Nothing.
Whatever the reason.
You see, like so I put all the different aspects. So the father says no. These are the places are saying yes.
His goal remains to find Daniel Robinson.
We want to bring him home to his family so they can have some closure.
I'm not going to give up. I'm not leaving until I see him again.
The link to the GoFundMe will be down in the description below. Daniel's father traveled from South Carolina to Arizona to search for his son. And thank you guys for stopping by. There's some up. All right, so that was my first video. I did that video September 29. Now I kind of wanted to go over some of the new details, I guess, which is a lot of it's, well, let me just show you. Let's start off with this clip. This is from News Nation, and then we're going to get into the whole supposed text messages. And there was also a Dr. Oz thing that was kind of interesting too, and the father speaks here as well. And then we'll get into the press conference.
Thanksgiving celebrations, one father spent the holiday passing out flyers for his missing son, Daniel Robinson. He has been missing since June 23rd. His SUV found a month later abandoned in an Arizona ravine. The 24-year-old geologist was last seen leaving work, and then he vanished without a trace. Police, a private investigator, and Daniel's family, especially his dad, all coming up empty-handed in their investigations so far. Daniel's disappearance happened about the same time as Gabby Petito, but received far less national attention. We have been highlighting this case for several months now on our missing reports, and we hope that some renewed coverage brings some answers to Daniel's family.
And regardless whether the guy had mental issues or not or whatever, I'm not trying to say he doesn't need to be found. Of course, this needs to be found. But I have to point out just all the different varying weird things that I saw when I was doing this story. This story is what I consider a deep dive when I made that video. When I spent hours, putting something together.
Joining me now is Daniel's father, David Robinson. Sir, we appreciate you once again coming on and giving us an update. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for having me.
I do understand you do have some new information to share with us tonight that may change the timeline of events. What have you learned?
Yes, for a couple of weeks, we've been vetting a federal law agent officer who was out there on the 23rd that morning when my son disappeared. He had a conversation with my son. We're trying.
So now this is new information, right? Dad saying that there was a federal agent officer there that spoke with Daniel the day, I guess, that he went missing, I guess, that day.
That timeline together, but he had a conversation with my son. He seemed very coherent. He spoke to him and his children, gave him directions to where he can target practice, best target practice. The agent told me that my son's vehicle was clean and appeared to be brand new. He didn't seem like he was in distress. So they helped my investigator to get a better timeline to what really happened that morning. Compared that with the testimony of what we thought at one time was the only person that saw my son that morning.
Does this help in terms of clues, or does it further confuse you as to what happened?
Well, so far, I think it would help, give us a better timeline, because we do know that an initial crash happened roughly around 1 o'clock that evening. So this new eyewitness sheds new light on that timeline. So once we get that confirmed with the timeline and put that against what the testimony was, the time my son was last seen at the well site, we get a better idea of what's going on.
I know that you have been frustrated at points with the investigation and kind of the lack of information that you've seen out of local police. You have asked for the FBI to get involved with this case. What's the status of that request?
Yes, I requested the Buckeye Police Department, Chief Hall, just go ahead and give him the details of things that was done so far in this case. And the suspicious nature, the fact that we're finding human remains out there would suggest that it's a crime scene area. My son went missing in that area. So Chief Hall, he did agree with the suspicious nature. And after sending the letter, he told me that he was going to bring in the FBI to take a look at my son's case. So I'm really relieved to hear that. We're going to follow up with him next week, and hopefully we can join in on that briefing.
And those remains found while you were in the desert searching for Daniel, those remains do not belong to your son. But finding that kind of evidence must be discouraging and really troubling for you as you look. Every time.
It's very hard. This latest remains that we found is very scary. It seemed like a fresher set of bones. Of course, it's really troublesome to me, but I was grateful hearing from the Buckeye Police Department that it wasn't Daniel. However, every time that happened, I am relieved also that we're bringing some closure to another family, because there's a lot of families that didn't know what happened to their loved ones. So this helped other families also.
Mm-hmm. I know this is a hard thing to wrap your mind around. I spoke with the PI on your case, your son's case, several times, and at one point he told me there had been several possible sightings of Daniel out there. Do you think that there is a chance that he may be out there and doesn't want to be found?
Well, I'm a man of faith. I was going to believe that my son is alive and well. However, we have to go based on everything I do know. That's what keeping me there in the desert. But when I do hear, sightings or any kind of leads, we do follow those, because we don't know what happened at that scene where my son's vehicle was found. So everything is open. We have to look at every direction, and we're following those.
Every single one. David, I want to share a tweet that you posted on October 14th. This was almost 4 months after Daniel went missing, and it says, "I will be here. When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversations fade, I will be here. When there is no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son." You have a lot of people helping in this search, offering love and support through all of this. How are you holding up?
It's hard. Every day it's like the first. Just try to make sure I keep my son's name out there. And I'm really grateful for the volunteers who tirelessly come out there every week. That's very encouraging to me. It keeps me going. The strength of my family and the strength of God. So I'm going to continue on searching for my son. And just like that, what I wrote there, I'm going to always be here for my son. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Holding out hope. David Robinson, we want to walk alongside you as you continue to search. Thank you.
That was a good video. That's kind of more condensed of some of the updates. And the father, I mean, it's very commendable. I mean, it's just, he's just been out there searching, like boots on the ground, and he has volunteers and all these people out there helping him search. Now, this is from October 7th. This is from News Nation again, and now this is regarding the text messages.
Tonight about another missing in America case that we brought you. It's June 23rd later, but no sign of desert for months. There are some text messages revealed in a police report from Buckeye Police that show Daniel was texting with a young woman leading up to his disappearance, and she turned down his advances. Robinson worked a side job delivering for Instacart. He also delivered liquor to a woman named Caitlin at her home. She and her friend had invited him in, apparently, and they exchanged phone numbers. Well, within the week, Robinson reportedly showed up unannounced and sent these messages saying, quote, "I couldn't stop thinking about you." She wrote back saying it made her uncomfortable and that she didn't want to hang out with him. According to the text, Robinson showed up at her home again, eventually asking Caitlin, "Do you hate me? Honestly, you showing up at my house unannounced," she said, "made me extremely uncomfortable. I don't see us hanging out anytime soon." All of these messages were then turned over to police and part of their initial report. As of tonight, Daniel's disappearance remains a mystery, and police say there is no evidence that any violence occurred or any foul play has happened. But Daniel's family say it just isn't like him to disappear. We have asked you to send us cases.
So, all right, now let me take you to, this was the Dr. Oz. I think I'll play the Dr. Oz after. I just want to start with the press conference. The press conference is a little bit long. But this was posted, I think, 2 days ago. And like I said, I didn't realize this actually came out, but some of the Discord crew told me about it because they were watching Grizzly True Crime. She talked about it on her channel. I put the link to her channel in the description and the source of this press conference in the video as well, in the original video. If you just want to watch the short version that I made, the 17 minutes, if you're late to the live stream. So, all right.
Am I in frame? Yeah. Okay. Hi, good morning. My name is Evan Short. That's EVANSHORT. I'm I assist the 3 Laws Recon and a family of the Robinson family for conducting the searches. I want to thank you all for coming out. This is the 16th public search that we've had. We've had the extended family of volunteers coming out, and we just wanted to thank you all for coming out here. Mr. Robinson does have some words that he'd like to share and express with everybody today. Mr. Robinson?
All right, thank you, Evan. All right, before I get started, first I want to thank God, who's the author and finisher of my faith. I want to thank him for blessing me to even be here for my son, providing my life in a certain area where I can be here for him. I also want to thank the volunteers that come out here every weekend, volunteering their time, and without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search. They like I said, they were out here working tirelessly, spending their weekends with me out here in the desert, looking for a stranger. Somebody they don't know, somebody they do know. Someone they can relate to. They are the people that have empathy for others. They came out here to search for my son, and I'm really happy and proud of them. And I really thank you guys for doing that for me and my family. My daughter here also. These people here that come out here every weekend, they are mothers, they are fathers, they are sisters, they are brothers, You know, they're just like me and my family. You know what I'm saying? They saw a calling, and they saw a need from another family, and they showed up. So I'm grateful for them. And, you know, these people came out here to show all their love to me and my family. They're the ones that showed me and my family that there's a lot of people out there that's capable of love. The volunteers for the search for Daniel, I love and I appreciate each and every one of them as my own family. They are my extended family. I tell them that every time we come out here, we're just not searchers, we are a family. The staff that's here, Mr. McGrath, Jim here next to me, Evan, we all family here. And I'm really proud of what's been happening out here every Saturday. Also, I want to thank my logistics coordinator, Evan Short, and his wife. From day one after joining, you know, my search efforts, they had done everything with passion. They never missed a single search, you know. They never asked for anything. They just show their love and, you know, help me out every way they can. You know, say everything we needed here, they're here for us. Also, I wanted to thank my private investigator, Jeff McGrath, and his staff, Jim, you know, who helped me and my family find the truth of what happened to my son's what helped me finding the truth of what happened to my son, Daniel Robinson. I'm grateful for his expertise in the accident reconstruction that allowed us to finally get some information towards what happened to this vehicle, my son's vehicle, the day he went missing. His care and knowledge uncovered everything that we needed to know about how my son's vehicle ended up over that hill over here behind us into that ravine. His findings are valuable and answer some of the questions that my family and myself have. Mr. McGrath is not only just the accident reconstructionist, he's also my friend. Thank you. Mr. McGrath is the only accident reconstructionist in my son's case who thought enough, you know, that it was worthwhile looking, physically touching my son's vehicle, physically looking at it and looking at the data, using all this expertise and knowledge that you have to find the truth. And I thank you.
You're so welcome.
Also to my attorney, Jay Calhoun, I thank you. She don't like to be on camera, but I thank her anyway. I thank you for your professionalism and your counsel. Anytime I'm feeling down, you're there. You'll give me encouraging words, and I really appreciate that. You looked out for my best interest so far, and I'm really grateful that you came along. So thank God for you. And all the long hours that you put in just to help my family, to get all the, keep us from legal harm. So I really thank you. You're like a big sister or something. So, and I want to thank all the people who helped in the searches, who donated, the ones that couldn't make it here, you know, donated their money, signed a petition, make phone calls. I have one in particular, Penny, she's behind me, who often call and check in on me almost daily. So I'm really grateful for her. I know she's back here behind me.
Here, buddy.
Oh, there she go. Okay, all right. I'm really thankful for her for doing that. And all the many people that's back here, I'm sure I've received so many phone calls and text messages, and they come out and they ask questions, show so much interest into my son's case. It's just overwhelming. You know, it's just overwhelming with love, and I'm really grateful for each and every person. And also to my family, who is the backbone of this whole thing, you know. I wouldn't be out here and I wouldn't be doing this thing without them. You know, they gave me the strength. They're behind the scenes. A lot of times people don't get to see them or hear them. They don't get to hear Daniel's mother, but they're there constantly trying to find answers to what happened to Daniel. Daniel's mother's at home with her husband. She has a lot of pain and suffering that she had to go through. She's not a person also that don't want to be in front of the camera a lot. She's a quiet person, you know, like to keep things quiet. But she's still there, and I want everybody to know that. Daniel has a mother that loves him, and that's at home suffering. You have a siblings, one here with me today, that also think about their little brother. My job is to continue to put the pressure on the law enforcement, in this case, to find answers that we need. And you know, as a father, I came here from Columbia, South Carolina to do so, to find answers and do whatever I have to do to find my son, and also seek all the help that I can get. If I can't get it from law enforcement, I had to do it myself, but that don't stop me from trying to get law enforcement to do the right thing. I also want to thank the media for coming out, because without the media, I would not be able to spread my son's what's happened to my son and the whole entire case here. You know, it's been a hard, long road just to get the media's attention, but now that I have it, I'm grateful. You know, get my son's story out there, let people know what's happening, and that way, if you know, Daniel's out there somewhere, somebody have seen anything, heard anything, somebody will say something. So I'm grateful for that. Well, my son Daniel, he started his life as an adult here in Arizona. He moved away from the cradle of his parents and his siblings in Columbia, South Carolina. He graduated from the College of Charleston to move out here here to Phoenix with his degree in geology. He started working at a company called Matrix New World. Some call it Matrix Southwest Groundwater. He worked that job diligently. He loved his job because it provided him to be able to expand his career in geology. In the terrain, he loved it out here. He get to collect the rocks that he loved the most. And you know, Daniel, when he first came out here, I seen him grow. He started off with what we like to call a hoopty, a little car that he had to fix and repair every day. But he got that car and he was proud of it because it gave him a chance to get to work on time, be a responsible adult, and you know, saying, and he loved his job, like I said. So he was blessed that later on that he was able to buy his first vehicle, a brand new vehicle, his Jeep Renegade. He was very proud of that vehicle. Daniel, when he got the vehicle, of course, he wanted to show it to his parents. He sent me the picture of the vehicle, and we had plans to come out here to Arizona in July to see the vehicle. But Daniel, so give me a second. Okay, with Daniel and I and his siblings, we had plans to get together in July, and I would have seen this vehicle for the first time, and I would have seen this vehicle for the first time, but instead, you know, I ended up seeing this vehicle in July in the condition that it was after it was taken from the scene right behind us here. Anyway, excuse me.
Take your time.
The first time I saw that vehicle was through a picture that Detective Biffin showed me from the police station, and it was different from the picture that my son sent to me when he's showing it to me for the first time. My son's very proud of that vehicle. It's something that he accomplished in life as a tangible something, to show his adulthood, his responsibility for himself, taking care of himself, living alone, starting off in life as a young man with a great career, high dreams, and you know, the whole 9 yards. So it's very difficult seeing that vehicle for the first time through a picture, but you know, Daniel, excuse me for a second. Daniel, on the morning of June the 23rd, was given an assignment to visit 2 well sites, After going to the first well site, he called his representative, a representative from the drilling company, Weber, who was waiting on him out here on Sun Valley Parkway. After meeting with the representative on Sun Valley Parkway, Daniel followed the representative back out here in this desert to the well site. Once he got to the well site, the two of them had a conversation about the weather, according to the representative. After a few minutes later, Daniel waved and drove off out there in the desert to never be seen again. On July 19, 2021, a rancher who is a fourth generation cattle rancher ran into my son's vehicle, the Jeep Renegade, right across this hill right here behind us here. According to the rancher, the Jeep Renegade was not there a couple of days prior to July 19th, 2021, because he had been through that area a couple of days before.
So that's pretty significant. Okay. So he went missing. It was last seen June 23rd, and the rancher finds this vehicle, or sees it. I think it was July. I had it here somewhere. I know he just said it. July 19th. Let me take it back.
Days to the rancher here behind us here. According to the rancher, the Jeep Renegade was not there a couple of days prior to July 19th, 2021, because he had been through that area a couple of days before. Since he knows this land, because this is his land, he has been raised, and he's been raised in this land for a couple. He's been raised in this land and knows this land very well. Like I say, he's a fourth generation cattle rancher. He's an expert on this land. The rancher told me personally that not only was that Jeep not there 2 days prior to July the 19th, but if it had been, his cattle would have been all over it. They would have been licking the vehicle, trying to get salt off of it. They would have been trying to get the case of water that was left in my son's vehicle in the back of that Jeep. They would have been messing around with the clothing that was on the ground outside of the vehicle. There would have been droppings all around that area because the cow would have hanged around there for a long time, because they often come through that ravine. Despite of this account from this witness who found my son's vehicle and put the timeline of when the vehicle got there, is not reported in the police report. His statement is not in the police report. In fact, the rancher account matches the findings of my investigator, Jeff McGrath, analysis. My investigator believes that his vehicle was crashed somewhere else and before making its way behind me here. The rancher's account backs up the Jeep was not there at least 2 days prior to July 19, 2021. Unless that vehicle was driven around the desert for almost 30 days without a gas fill up before making its way into that ravine, I can't see personally how it crashed in that ravine on July the 19th, or 2 days prior, or July the 23rd when he went missing. That date do not match the data shown on the first crash, when the first crash happened 4 hours after my son went missing. We all know that there was a red transfer paint on my son's vehicle, on the driver's side. There was nothing red out here in the desert. If you guys look around right now, there's nothing red out here. The windshield had two impressions, as if something was trying to enter the vehicle from going inward. The damage on that vehicle does not match what happened in that ravine. Also, after the police collected my son's belongings and put them into evidence bags marked for safekeeping, a sock belonging to my son was found near the well site where he went missing weeks later. Law enforcement built a case around my son, around the disappearance of my son, to include the opinions of coworkers that said he was acting odd. Coworkers who are not licensed into mental health, and they're not mental health experts, but not doctors. Yet their account made it into the report. There's a second person and the last person that saw my son on June 23rd, 2021. And I will let my investigator speak on that a lot more. It's okay. It's okay. He saw my son and his Jeep that morning, sometime that day. He's a federal employee. Law enforcement.
So this is one of the new bits of information too. I'm not going to pause much because it's kind of long, but this is one of the new bits, as well as the paint thing too that they were just talking about, and the rancher thing too, which is pretty odd, you know.
My son held a conversation with him. He didn't seem to be, well, the federal worker in law enforcement told me personally that according to him, my son held a conversation with him. He didn't seem distressed. He was very polite. He helped him determine the best place to go out and target practice, like you hear in the background now. They often do that out here. My son mentioned that he was at work in this area, and shooting in this area would not be good. According to this federal employee, law enforcement, Daniel didn't act odd or seem to have any sign of mental impairment. According to this federal worker, my son's Jeep was not damaged in any way. It appeared to be brand new. This federal employee stated that statement was not included in the record of law enforcement. According to this federal employee, law enforcement had never contacted him. His account potentially changes what we believe was the timeline to what happened on June the 23rd, 2021. This week I sent Chief Hall a letter to Chief Hall, Chief of Buckeye Police Department. This letter was sent to him from a father who has been out here every week for 16 weeks searching and trying to find answers to what happened to my son. I am that father. I formally requested that the Buckeye Police Department call in the FBI to aid and do an investigation to the suspicious circumstances surrounding my son's case. After a failed attempt to get the law enforcement to search for my son over 12 hours after I put in the missing person report, I packed my car and I headed to Arizona to search for Daniel myself. Since then, I started a weekly search that to date didn't find Daniel, but uncovered some truths about the area where my son went missing. We have found the remains of humans out here. That proves something. Crimes has happened out here. My son went missing out in the area where obvious crimes has happened. My son went missing in suspicious circumstances. Even Chief Hall agreed to that in the interview with CNN. Where's the investigation in these suspicious circumstances? Where's the investigation to why there are human remains being found out here in this area? Where did my son go to? What happened to him? What kind of suspicious activity and circumstances do law enforcement need before they investigate? I think that we have enough suspicious circumstances surrounding this case. In my letter, to Chief Hall, I pointed out that everything that my investigator turned over to them, the people that we sent to them, that wanted to give their account, and the facts and the facts and circumstances surrounding my son's disappearance, the same suspicions that he himself on CNN said he saw. I received a response from the letter from my letter to Chief Hall on yesterday at 1:09 p.m. After brief words in his response, the last paragraph informed me that he personally contacted the FBI requesting review of my son's case. He hopes that fresh eyes on my son's case would bring light. He hopes that fresh eyes on my son's case will bring to light more details. He has a case briefing being scheduled for next week. After almost 5 months into my son's disappearance, my family and I are finally heading towards getting justice for Daniel. It took hard work. It took sleepless nights. It took searching for months, and it took the love that I have for my son to get the needle moving. No family should have to go through hurdles to find answers No family should have to go through hurdles to find answers or get closure to the pain of not knowing what happened to their loved ones. Every case involving a missing person should be treated with the same urgency as the next. There is no sorrow less felt by any family over the other when their loved one is missing. It is all the same. Sorrow, pain, and grief has no color. It is felt by all who are going through life, never receiving the answers to what happened to the one that was a part of their life. Often, people of color have to go through hurdles, do not receive the urgency that it takes to find their loved ones. As a result, they often go unheard, even when putting their trust in the very ones that are out here to serve and protect them. I have a petition with more than 95,000 signatures of people seeking justice for my son Daniel and all the victims and families whose voice is muffled by apathy. They signed for the unheard and the unknown. People signed a petition to see change on how the law is enforcement approaches missing persons reports. They want to see every case of missing persons treated with urgency and care, the same vigor and sweat every time. They need overwhelming support by outside agencies working together to find their loved ones. I pray that no family has to endure what my family has to take just to be heard and to have our missing person taken seriously. But unfortunately, if a department lacks the resources and training, they need to provide extra attention to the missing person. They must ask for help from outside sources. I am not going to stop searching for my son until he's found. After what I and my family had to go through for these months, I can't sit back and hope that they are going to give the same energy to find my son as I did for months now. To continue my searches, I am starting a new phase of searching. I have a city search where I need volunteers who are willing to go out to the homeless population, shelters, mental health facilities, hospitals, etc., to pass out flyers. And I want to let everybody know that's sitting behind me. Since, like I told you earlier, since it's going to be Thanksgiving next week, I will be counseling searches next week. This will give my volunteers time, and they need to spend with their families. And I really appreciate them for doing this every week. I will continue my desert searches on Saturdays at 6:45 a.m., having my safety briefing. 7 o'clock to 11 for the searches, and then the city searches will begin on Saturdays also from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. All the information about that will be on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Now I want to turn this over to my investigator, Jeff McGrath.
Thank you, David. I'm Jeff McGrath. I'm the Chief Investigative Officer and owner of 3 Laws Recon Investigations. And when David contacted me about this case back in July after the vehicle was recovered, I got involved in from the picture that was shown to me that David had, the one and only picture that was provided to David by the Buckeye Police Department, there was obvious signs in that picture, obvious signs that a first week accident reconstructionist right out of training could spot. So I took on the case, and yes, I did uncover a lot of information in that vehicle that poses that there's a lot of suspicious circumstances surrounding this. The damage, the crash data recorder, the airbag control module, what we call the black box information that was provided, none of that matched the ravine the vehicle was found in. I've spent a lot of time and work looking at that vehicle, processing that vehicle. I've found the red paint transfer, other information in that vehicle, and I have turned all of my information over to the Buckeye Police detectives because I wanted them to step up their investigation. Unfortunately, when I went to go out and process the vehicle the first time when it was still in Buckeye's possession, they turned it over to us through Mr. Robinson and said, their exact words said, "We don't have an investigation, we're done. We don't have a crime and we don't have anything to investigate." So they've turned everything over to us. I currently have all of that, what should have been marked evidence and should still be in their evidence lockers for review. But as we go through all of it, we just keep finding more and more. And I sat down with the Buckeye Police Department and detectives, lieutenants and assistant chief, and explained to them my findings. And all they want to do is brush me off. They don't want my information. And we've been trying to put pressure on them from day one. And this is unacceptable. If this were my child, their child, anybody else's child, I believe especially if it was their child, I believe they'd step up their investigation. But for this, they look at this as a young black man that they believe just wanted to disappear and join a monastery. Absurd. It's absolutely absurd what they believe. But we have been put in.
So with that monastery thing, supposedly, if I could find that CNN clip somewhere, but the father was talking about that police, I think, supposedly had said that they believe, or they were suggesting maybe he ran away. Maybe he ran away to some, I don't know, some group or something like that. But, the vehicle definitely to me doesn't add up. Weird. I also wonder about that woman and the text messages. Like, did police see all the text messages? Did they fully investigate that? Was somebody trying to retaliate for him coming in there? He was invited in. I mean, I feel like we don't know all of everything. We just know bits and pieces. So I'm just kind of curious about that interaction with that lady. Now we have the new witness that supposedly saw Daniel that day.
Pressure on them week after week after week. We finally got Chief Hall to admit to CNN on record that there are suspicious circumstances surrounding this. They say now that they're investigating this, that they do have an ongoing investigation, and they still haven't asked me to see the vehicle. It seems that their concern was to get an expert 3 months after the fact that does the same work I do to come out, not to help, but to rebut my information. And that's frustrating to me. This is not a civil case where we have experts battling against each other on whose vehicle did what. This is a cut and dry case where there's a vehicle found in a ravine, the damage doesn't match the profile, and they want to go out and find experts at Jeep to say that the information they found is not an anomaly. It actually is very disturbing to me that they want to just keep pushing it back and defy anything that we come up with. When I found the sock 3 miles away from here that was Daniel's, the detective Sergeant Hanneman, said, "How do you know it's Daniel's? You can't prove that." Well, I know it's Daniel's, and if anybody saw the sock, and I'm willing to show anybody the sock compared to the socks they recovered and the socks that I took photographs in Daniel's bedroom, and you will say, yeah, that was Daniel's sock, absolutely. We don't find a lot of socks out here in the desert. It's not common. But yeah, we did find one 3 miles away. That to them was not any concern. We keep finding human remains while we're out here. 2 weeks ago, was it 3 weeks ago, we discovered human leg bones, full femurs, both of them, and a pelvis, and some spinal cord, some vertebrae. And so, of course, we finally get Buckeye to come out and tape off. This is the first time I've actually seen them use crime scene tape in this instance, where they came out and they taped it off and they collected it. And we were told almost immediately it was not Daniel's, but it's somebody's. It's somebody's. So the Buckeye Police Department released their report on their investigation, and they want to, and they did put a lot of information in there that supports their side, but they have left out information like the cattle rancher, Brandon, that found the vehicle. His information was completely just not, it was just completely overlooked. It wasn't put in there. That's a major part to investigation. You have somebody who finds your main point of evidence, and they have information and they're familiar with the land. That would be key to my investigation, and it is key to my investigation. I've spoken with Brandon numerous times. He's very he's a very straightforward man. He's a straight shooter. He's not gonna jerk us around. He just basically told us flat out, I know that vehicle was not there 2 days prior. I'm 100% certain. I go with this information. I also go with science and fact. And when I do all my fact checking and look for my information out here, I can't find something that gives me concrete evidence that that vehicle was not there 2 days before, but I do got to go with some pretty strong words like that. And when you see the vehicle, when they recovered it, it was not in the condition of something that's been out there for a month. During the monsoon time out here, it would have been a lot more dirty. There's a lot of information. Another thing is if you're out here in the desert and you got 2 cases of water bottles with you that are untouched in the vehicle and the person's gone, that kind of leads to believe that, somebody didn't just have an accident and try to wander off and find help, because they would have taken some water with them. I would assume. It's June out here in the desert. It's pretty hot. But there's a lot of information with this that just doesn't make sense. We're going to keep going. Hopefully, now with the chief calling the FBI in, that will do something, because there's something going on here, and we can't put our finger on it. We haven't answered every question. We've answered some. We still have the main question is, where's Daniel? And that's what we're going to find. We're not going to give up until we do. When I say we, I talk about my company and all my teammates and members, like Jim over here to my right, is also a well-seasoned investigator and a retired homicide investigator. Detective. He worked in my department with me. He's one of the best investigators I know. We're putting more eyes on this, more brains on this. We're doing everything we can. We're teaming up, and we're going to find something. We have, through this part, become family with Mr. Robinson and his family, immediate family, because I don't carry cases personal. I don't get passionate. I get passionate, but I don't get emotional over my cases. And I carry a lot of cases. I deal with a lot of death. I deal with a lot of families that are broken because of the work I do. But this one hurts me, and it hurts me because I'm a father. It hurts me because I see how broken this has gotten David, and we're going to hang on his side. We're on his right and left side right now, and we're going to stay that way even when we're not with him. We're on his side. So we're going to keep going forward, and hopefully we get some answers. And when we can sit down with the FBI, we believe that's going to progress this case much quicker. We're going to accelerate from there. So let's hope they sit down with us, and we can just bypass Buckeye at this point, because there needs to be something done about this. And it's not just Buckeye. I have since this obtained 2 new cases, and they are both people of color, where the law enforcement agencies, and it's not Buckeye, it's other agencies, have just stopped and said, we're done. We don't have anything else. I can't imagine just stopping. I got a poor 18-year-old girl that's missing. Family's been looking for her since 2019, and the police department says we've done all we can do. It blows my mind. Something has to change with law enforcement, and I am retired law enforcement, and I've dealt with missing persons in law enforcement. So has Jim over here, and we know we put in the resources we can. but there has to be some type of change in law enforcement, and it's not just people of color too. It's anybody that goes missing. Gabby Petito got attention immediately and got the FBI on immediately. We didn't. We took us weeks and months.
Somebody said, "Why is everyone bringing up meth?" When I was looking at the Reddit forums, and I would love to talk to somebody that's out in that area. One day, eventually in the future, I'd love to travel sometimes too. I sometimes do that in Florida, but I love to travel just to see for myself, get a visual, maybe show you guys a visual as well. But there's just some weird stuff that I saw in the Reddit forums about people that lived there or used to live there, about walking on the wrong property or trespassing or just some of the weird, criminal activity out there, out in the desert.
To get any media coverage on this, and we've been out here doing this without media, and we're going to keep doing it if the media is here or not. But something has to change within law enforcement, and I'm speaking for all law enforcement, saying you got to do something. You need to get the resources. If you don't have the resources, it's okay to say I don't have the resources. Reach out above you. There's county, there's state, there's federal. You can always ask for help. You shouldn't dig your heels in and say, I've got this.
And I don't think anybody's saying that this guy was on drugs. We're just saying, you could easily walk onto the wrong area or go into the wrong area or piss off somebody or, I don't know.
And nobody else is going to figure this out but me. That's the problem we're dealing with. So let's hope we get some change in law enforcement, whatever it takes. If we got to write our senators in Congress and say we need to do something, because the phone calls I'm getting since this they're blowing me away. I didn't realize it was as bad as it is. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Jim Archer over here with Intuitive Research Group. He and I work together, and like I said, he is primarily homicide, but he does work with me, and very smart and great investigator.
Thank you very much. My name is Jim Archer, spelled A-R-C-H-E-R. I own Intuitive Research Group, and although I own my own company and Jeff owns his own company, we are partners in our investigative teams and endeavors. So he and I are working this case together, and I'm grateful for David for including me in on this. So I've been aware of this case since August, but I've been really dedicated to it since late September. And I am a retired investigator, and I have worked homicides and missing persons cases. And this case is unique among other cases because of the circumstances that were eloquently described here today. And because of that, it should have been handled as an endangered missing person from the beginning, and even looked at as if it were a homicide to be properly investigated. And what I've seen so far was kind of concerning, to say the least, on how it was handled. Certainly, if I were investigating a case like this, it would have been, well, to say the least, interesting. And it would have been handled by our department a little bit differently. We would have moved forward with it as an endangered missing person, I guess you could say. And we would have at least worked it until we had the right kind of closure. And that's what Jeff and I are working towards, and in the interest of David here, is to get the right kind of closure, to get the answers that he deserves, and move forward so that he can move on with his life and his family can be at peace. So that's what we're striving for. That's what Jeff and I are working for. And again, I'm grateful. Thank you.
Okay. Again, thank you all for coming out and supporting this press conference. I want to again lastly say thank you to the volunteers. I just love you guys. You just don't know. And all the ones that's out there right now that wasn't able to make it to the press conference that's out there currently doing foot searches. So I'm grateful for them too. So I want to tell you, my family, we really appreciate you. Love you from the bottom of my heart. And I really am grateful for each and every one of you. You're like family to me. And I just want y'all to know that. Thank God for you. All right.
Amen.
That concludes my press. Thank you.
So they did a great job. I believe the father was in the military. I don't know if he's still in. I don't know if he's a veteran. I know he was like in the military. But he did a good job with this. It was informative. I say that they even have better audio than most of the times that I'm watching the news and they're doing a press conference. They had better audio than most of these corporations. I mean, I don't know if the media out there set it up. It looks like this guy with the camera set it up. This guy knows what he's doing. I appreciate the clear audio, you know, a lot of times, and I guess because of the different environments, but you can get good audio if you do it right. Just weird, bizarre story, man. I mean, I hope that, you know, hopefully we can, you know, give a little bit of attention to this. That was the goal of this video, was just kind of bring a little bit of a spotlight back on it a little bit for the people that don't know or haven't heard of this story. I put the link. So there's some official websites you can check out. Let me see. And yeah, let me before I even talk about what I was going to talk about, let me just show you some of the links real quick. So there's the petition website. Okay, you can sign there. I put that link down below. There's also the Please Help Find Daniel. This is like the official website that they made. And so I saw a couple of people asking about how far was the vehicle found from the work site. According to this, see, back then, I'm sure a lot of the information is probably updating and changing. Back then, when I took the information down, it said 4.5 miles from the work site, and it kind of updated, which, you know, 4 or 2 miles, I guess, you know, whatever. But now it says 2.5 miles, found by a rancher a little over 2.5 miles from the work site in a remote part of the desert. So, I mean, it was very close to work, you know, the vehicle. But you can come to this website for like the updates, the official, I guess, that the family's posting. You know, you can check that out. They have a fundraiser too, which they succeeded. They've raised a lot of funds. They've done really well with the GoFundMe. But just nothing seems to be turning up. And what's weird to me is that, like, I just didn't see much of anything as far as like press coverage besides Grizzly covering it, and then this video here where he posted it getting 294 views. But I was like, okay, whatever. Let me see, like, maybe the news. But when I typed it in, like Daniel Robinson, because they told me about this last night, I didn't see anything. The only people that came up with an update was News Nation, which News Nation, they've been doing a good job. I think they're like now, I don't know if they're new. How long has News Nation been around? But they're doing like these missing person segments. And so they did an update. That's the only update that I've seen. But as far as this press thing, I haven't really seen it anywhere. Nowhere. I don't know if it's just too long. A lot of times the media, they're like shorter clips. Maybe they have somebody working on it to edit it just to make shorter versions. I don't know. But it was a little surprising that, like, yeah, you didn't see any coverage about it. So this live stream was just meant to have everything that I have included. The video that I did, some of the other videos. Oh, there is a Dr. Oz thing too. I don't know if Dr. Oz copyright claims videos though. That's the only thing. Kind of like Dr. Phil. So sometimes I'm a little hesitant to play their videos. We can. I mean, I think this is all the stuff that we've covered anyway. But yeah, I was taking a break, guys. Some of you know, most of you know. So I'm kind of I'm starting to ease myself, and I'm kind of coming back. So just be ready. You know, more live streams, new stories. I'm gonna ease my way in. I've been doing the Facebook project as well. A lot of holidays. Hope you guys are being safe. You know, Thanksgiving just passed. But yeah, I'm getting ready to kind of kick it back into gear with different stories, long ones, short ones. I think I'm gonna have to do a mix of like the compact short ones just to give something to the algorithm, and then the longer deep dives like the one with Daniel Robinson. The Jelani Day video I did, the original one, that was kind of a deep dive as well. Those take kind of a lot of effort to do. So oh, and Justin Sywick too. Justin Sywick, that was kind of interesting. I got to kind of follow back and check with them. Another thing that's going to be coming, there is this woman that was missing. I wonder if I can get this guy right now. I wonder. You guys want me to call the private investigator? He's working on a case. He said he's been. I wonder if he'll answer. If you guys want to hear, let him give a little update on this other missing person. Let's see. And he's been in the news now. Let me see if I can call him real quick before we call this. I was gonna wait till next week to call him and talk about it, but let me just this might be a story that I'm gonna cover. I can actually probably clip this and post it separately if he picks up. If not, then I'll just do it on a different live stream. But let me call him and see.
Hello.
Hey, James, how you doing, man? We're on live, by the way.
Hanging in there, partner. Hanging in there. Just getting all the phone calls coming in from the Fox
I see
story.
you. Yeah,
we're just trying to corral them all. It's amazing when the major media markets and publications get involved in things. It makes the whole missing persons thing work a little bit easier. But how you been? How's things going?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I remember you reached out to me about Michaela, and I was supposed to cover it. I didn't have a chance because I took a break, but I'm thinking I'm going to edge myself into this and kind of start covering it now.
Sure.
What can you tell me about this? Are you, or what can you say about Michaela, like some of the details and what's going on?
It's the next Gabby Petito story, except this one has gone on a little bit longer as far as not been able to find her. So what we've got here is a 26-year-old college grad from Cedarville College in Ohio who recently was divorced, whose mom passed away of breast cancer. And I mean, the twists and turns in this are unlike anything I've ever seen. My specialty as a private investigator is celebrity cases, minority missing persons cases, and people that go missing with a car. This has all three. It's the first time ever I've had a case with all three. Lance Nelson, her father, and I got put in contact by a major media outlet. I started giving him my theories as to what I thought was going on, and he hired me about 2 weeks into her disappearance. Not only that, but she's also AWOL from the National Guard. She's also a model and social media influencer. So it basically has every aspect of a missing persons case that the media loves. It's just that we had to wait a little bit before we could ramp it up. So it looks like what happened is this girl disappeared and might have done so purposely. But there's a lot of aspects of that. Did she go missing purposely to become a celebrity? Right around the time Gabby Petito's case was winding down, and by the way, Gabby Petito's Facebook page and official social media pages actually produced this story first, got it into the atmosphere, which is another reason it took off. So everybody that was following that started following this. But did she do this because she wanted to become a celebrity and she thinks this is the way to do it by going missing? Is this a girl who has had some mental issues and has been in some hospitals for that just had a break? Or is this somebody that met with foul play? And we're working through all of those possibilities now. But there's a bunch of celebrities that are involved in this case that we'd like to speak to, and definitely people that are celebrities and athletes that I've already spoken to that have kind of cleared their name, but one in particular that will not let himself out of it. And I think once you start looking into this, you can kind of connect the dots yourself and see where it goes.
Very interesting. And so this is considered like AWOL because she's enlisted, right?
Yeah, even though it's the National Guard, she went AWOL. In fact, I spoke with her lieutenant, her commanding officer, who said, hey, listen, we understand there might be some bigger issues here. If she wants to get out of the National Guard, we will allow it. All she's got to do is FaceTime us. I even brokered it where she does not even have to come in. They'll just let her out. And that's very, very important here when you're dealing with a story like this, because that takes away one of the reasons why, and one of the excuses why she wouldn't want to be found. Now, we've run plate readers on the car, which have only had it hit a couple of times in October, maybe 10 days before. So there was some talks that she wanted to go and become a Laker girl. And she was messing around with a former Los Angeles Laker named Alfonso McKinney, who I believe might have told her he could have got her into that. She became extremely into Black Lives Matter. She was also hanging around a rapper and his entourage in Chicago over the summer, a guy I know you're familiar with, a guy named Moneybag Yo.
I have
And,
no idea who Moneybag Yo. It kind of sounds familiar though, man. Like
listen, I don't. Moneybag Yo is a hit or miss. Now I know you're into the lighter gangster rap. You still listen to like P Diddy and MC Hammer and all that kind of stuff. But usually it's younger people, inner city people love Moneybag Yo. He's from South Memphis and he's the real deal. He also has a social media influencer girlfriend who's been portrayed as the black Kim Kardashian in the hood, and he and her broke up the weekend that Michaela Nelson was in town, a couple of weeks after, of course, the families then listed her as missing. So there is a whole lot to this, a whole lot of celebrities that were involved in this, most of which are basketball players and former NFL football players. Bottom line is it's a lot to sift through, and the car is still a major anchor here. Wherever that car is what will lead us to her, and it's been tough. The FBI, because of the media presence, has contacted me to get into this, and the Columbus Police Department are doing their job, and so is the family. So it's quite interesting.
So, man, thanks. I appreciate that. And so because I remember you told me you were working on something with the vehicle. I don't know if I can say like
sure.
the software thing, the tracking stuff. Like, any success with that or?
We thought the reason I didn't go to the press right away is we thought in the first couple of days that we would have this thing possibly figured out in about a week. She's driving around or had been driving around in a gray charcoal color 2016 Dodge Charger. Now Dodge has a service with it, a subscription service called UConnect. If you have UConnect, you can go ahead and get that vehicle and track it. You can turn the car on and off, roll the windows down, see how many miles, what's in the gas tank, all that kind of stuff with UConnect. So we paid the fee, had the subscription turned on, and the bottom line was the radio in which it goes through this UConnect system, which is kind of like OnStar or satellite radio, basically was 6 months too old. We would have had to have been with the car in order to put it into play and be able to turn the car on and off, reported as stolen. So right now that car is missing, and so is she, and we are diligently trying to find her. But I have to do this to you, and I've never done this on your show. I have got actually a call coming in right now from Columbus.
Good,
okay,
I'm going to follow up with you. We'll talk.
I would like to do a whole show on this because it's fascinating, the amount of celebrities that are involved in this, and I think I can use your public's help. And once again, anybody that thinks they know anything could reach me at area code 813-993-2242, partner. Hey, I do have one question for you. It seems like we're growing the hair out on the program. What are we looking to do with our hair here now?
Oh my God. I was thinking to go get a haircut today. I don't know what I'm doing, man. I don't know. I'll go through my different hair phases.
Listen, I have had a lot of people emailing me. They're saying, what's wrong with Icky? Is he trying to get a fro? Is he going to put in I just have been telling people you're getting ready to put it into short wicks, that you're going to get little dreads and then see where it goes. I says, but he's worried that he'll lose followers should he go hardcore like that, because right now we're still not sure what's going on. But all right, man, I mean, hey, listen, you do what you need to do. I'm thinking maybe you go with a straight up 1992 box fade.
Oh my God.
Box fade it. That's what I would do.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's getting kind of crazy. My hair is just like, I don't know, life of its own right now. It's out of control.
Just be careful, man. The next thing you know, if you wet that and start putting a little S curl in it, and you start hanging around those campgrounds in Australia, people are going to make some connections.
People were upset about the S curl thing, man. They were offended. They were all angry.
Yeah, they were. And then the people are like, well, listen, they're indigenous. Those are folks. Listen, everybody, and I'm a Black history major from Clark Atlanta University. All life started in Africa, losers. Deal with it. The furthest we can go back to human civilization all comes from Africa. So we're all drinking out of the same fountain, my friend. God bless. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, man. All right, take care. That's James, man. Hey, like I told you guys before, hate him or love him. I first encountered James when he covered when I covered the Gloria Alvarado story. I just randomly covered that story. That's what I always talk about, planting seeds. You just never know. You never know what you're gonna get or meet or encounter. And so he actually solved that case. He actually found this missing. He wasn't even in the state. He was in a completely different state, and he solved this girl. She came home. He called her. He was talking to her, and then he called police, and they had a meet up somewhere. And she's safe. And so here he is again. He's in the news, man. James in the news. He's working on this case. He was hired by the family. If you guys want me to cover it, let me know. You guys want me to cover this story? I'm thinking I'm going to cover it because then I can bring him on and I'll have knowledge of actually what this is about, because I have no idea besides, missing person. I never really looked into it. He did reach out to me though about covering this story. And I took my break though. I wanted to kind of show you a little something else, humor, and then we'll get out of here. I'm going to timestamp the video after I end this live stream. I want to show you guys something real quick because I was thinking about the S-curl thing, and I saw somebody in the chat mention Soul Glow. I don't know if I could show it. Can I show this video? Oh my God. Just a quick little...
See? 1, 2, 3. Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul go.
That's Coming to America, I think, right?
Let your soul go. Wow, your hair's so nice. Huh? Wow.
My daughter. It was a long time ago. It's just so glow. But yeah, no, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, man. I appreciate it. Please, if you wouldn't mind hitting like, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. It would really help out. I fixed the link to Discord. So if you want to join Discord, join. Oh, I missed the super chat too. Thank you, Juanita. I like a low fade. I'm just saying. Thank you, Juanita. I like the clean cut too. Sometimes I just let it grow because I like I don't know, whatever. I like my hair played with. But I sometimes let it grow. But yeah, it's overdue. Like now it's kind of looking crazy, man. I'm looking kind of nuts. Looking kind of, can't control it. Out of my control. But I fixed the Discord link. So if you guys want to join, you can join the Discord. And right now things are like chill. Right now we're just covering stories. I mean, I took a break, but we're kind of fishing. We're going to see what happens. Trust me, something big's going to come along. Right now everybody's just kind of the holidays and all this stuff. I just needed to tune out from all this craziness, man. Like I got to take a break, but I feel like I'm ready to come back now. I feel good. I'm going to sign up to a gym. Okay. I'm thinking LA Fitness. I don't know what you guys think about LA Fitness. I'm thinking LA Fitness, man. So, because of the location, because it's close. I'm thinking LA Fitness, because I need some daily, all this weight, man. I've been gaining a bunch of weight. I need to get back. And even it's really just for my mental health, really, too. It keeps me balanced. So I'm thinking of doing that. Really? Zero? Don't say that. 0 thumbs down? That can't be. That's kind of weird. Where are these people at? Did YouTube enact no dislikes now? Did they take away the dislikes? Those people are going to have to find something else to do. The ones that are subscribed just to hit dislike. Let's see. No dislikes?
I keep seeing all these guys.
There's 6 dislikes. You know there's going to be somebody that dislike. These people dislike things before the video even starts. All you puss ass Fs that know and not saying what she say. Anything, go die or say something, they will cover you. You won't get cut off. I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, and you know what happened this morning too, man? Just ending off the stream. I was looking for clips for Facebook and I started seeing all these crazy stories. And I was like, damn, this would have been perfect for last night. I was like, oh man, like, I don't know if we'll do it again. The fun stream. I like it because for me, it's fun. It's fun just to kick back. We're hanging out. We're watching whatever. And actually the video did really well. Did you guys like that stream last night, or were you pissed off and offended by it? It said analytics tells me that how many people unsubscribed? 11 people unsubscribed. I mean, it's not the end of the world. 11 people, but thanks, Mickey. I think every once in a while, I don't know how often we'll do it, but I think once in a while, like a fun stream is good, man, to kind of just, kind of have a little fun. I mean, even though there was serious moments, I think I want to like do a better selection of videos, because there was some things that came up that wasn't fun or funny, but gotta have a little bit of relax a little bit, Joe Smoke said I'm heading to Buckeye. Island boys. Bro, oh, you know those guys, they got booed off stage. So those Island Boys, before they blew up, I'd actually have seen them. The Island, like I've seen them on video before that viral moment, because they used to do something with this guy called Enzo 954. I don't know. They're in Florida, and this is young kids. They're crazy as hell. And I've seen them before the viral moment, and then they had their viral moment, the Island Boy thing, and they recently went to go perform, and they got booed, like an actual, like I think it was Island Boy performance, right? Or booed. Let's see. Oh, it was bad, man. It was really bad. The thing is, like, they don't really have music, right? Do they have music? You can't. I get the memeable moment, and I think they did well with the memeable moment. But to go on stage and perform Island Boy, I don't know. I mean, Club Live.
And I'm just trying to make it, or I'm an island boy. I put my vest down, yeah. Hey, I'm an island boy. I'm an island boy. I'm gonna keep it like it's all one boy. Tell the boy better keep that going. I'm gonna do it while I'm staring at the sun. I've been really at the fool gazing and the pool.
And they didn't put no music either. Where's the music at? Like, didn't put no beat behind it or nothing?
Where I'm staying, I'll pull up like a super saiyan. Trying to be the greatest, like trying to be the finest. Yeah, I'm an island boy. I'm an island.
I don't know, bro. Bye. Island Boys boot off, man. Boot off stage. But anyway, man, yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a great day, man. Be safe. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. Just be safe, man. Just too many crazy people out there. Craziness. Love you guys. Peace. Take care. Adios.